Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the party. Welcome to my earnings stream. I do these earnings streams every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. And today we're going to be watching the price reaction to the earnings data on IBM and Ford. I'm pretty interested to see the earnings data on each of these. I'm going to get my other screen pulled up so when the data gets released, I can post that for everybody. Just a quick check here. IBM reports at 4:10 p.m. Eastern. So got about another 10 minutes on that one. Ford actually reports first. They're going to report at 4:05 p.m. Eastern. So just about another 4 more minutes and we'll get the Ford earnings data first. And then kind of go from there. So I've got a couple minutes to burn. Let me just make sure I got my other screen ready to go. And as soon as this data comes out, we'll post that for everybody on YouTube. Got some people joining me in the Discord. What's going on, Dave? What's going on, Cat? Dumpster Cat. Farouk, good to see you. Snowflake, the dude. Dumpster Cat says Ford to 0. You must be short. But pretty good there. What's up, the dude? Stickman, how you doing? I've seen you a couple times today. And we got some people coming in from YouTube, lots of Twitter viewers, Twitch. People are just piling into the stream. So I got both tickers pulled up, got the 5-minute chart pulled up. Since it's earnings and after hours, I'll go ahead and zoom in a little bit. We'll go to the 3-minute chart on both of these. And then we'll see. Okay, looks like IBM's already getting some volatility here. Let me just zoom out a little bit. I'll pull this up on Webull as well, just so I have order books and stuff like that I can look at. IBM and Ford. Actually, let's just go to 2-chart view on Webull. Here we go. Obviously, bloody day in the markets today. Was just kind of looking at everything from a bird's eye view. All 3 indexes are down. S&P down over 2%. NASDAQ took a huge hit. Of course, NASDAQ's very tech heavy, so they're down 3.65%. And the Dow, of course, is red as well. All 3 major indexes, just a bloody day. Interesting, VIX up 22% today. So for you option sellers, the contract writers out there, we always like to see the VIX closer to 20. We can get paid as the sellers a lot more than if the VIX is lower. Of course, when the VIX goes up, the premium on the options chains get a lot better. So pretty exciting for the people out there that write contracts. 10-year yield was basically green all day. I was kind of tracking that earlier. Got the dollar index here and the 10-year yield here. 10-year yield nice and green. Dollar index kind of flat overall, but anytime we see the 10-year going up almost 1% today, a lot of times when we see that money comes out of stocks, right? We see that on a bloody day. So kind of lining up there. What time is it? 4:03 p.m. All right, just got 2 more minutes, and then we'll have Ford's earnings reaction and earnings data. So let me just refresh my other screen over here, make sure when the data comes out, I'll be able to post that for everyone right away. Anyways, back to IBM and Ford. So IBM getting a little volatility here before the data even comes out. You can see right here on Webull on my left side of my screen, whipped up to 184.97. Then sellers pushed it down to 181.34. And now it's just kind of hanging out down here, down 1% red in after hours. Ford getting a little bit of buyers are kind of showing their heads here a little bit. Kind of take this with a grain of salt because the data is not out yet. 4:04 p.m. So the data, let's look at the right chart here on my screen. We're going to look at Ford first and see what the reaction is going to be because we're going to get that in a second here. Let me refresh my other screen. I'll go ahead and go to, I go 1-minute chart. It looks like the algos might have had a hold of it today, kind of barcoding a little bit all day. All right, let's see what we got here. Officially 4:05 p.m. Eastern. That is technically the time they're supposed to announce data. and we are getting some volatility, got some flicker action going on. Let's just kind of give it a second. Sometimes the first move it's not the right, ends up being the real move, right? So just kind of let's wait for this candle to print at least. But getting lots of flicker action here. Just look at the order book stacked on the sellers right now. So got a seller side imbalance, pretty good seller side imbalance going on right now. This is just the regular level 2 order book on Webull gives me up to 50 orders, I believe. Yeah, lets me go to 50 orders. But anyway, it's huge sell side imbalance. This thing's coming down so far. Let me refresh my other screen, see if we get some data to figure out what's going on. And also just, again, keep I'm kind of thinking, sometimes, like I was saying, that first move's not the real move. So let's just kind of give it a minute to let this data get digested by everybody. Let's see here. Okay, we're going to check out some other data too. So it looks like it's a negative reaction on 4. Okay, it does look like this very well could be the real move. Down 5% in after hours on the second 1-minute candle print here. The first 1-minute candle print after the data came out was obviously bearish. Working on the second print now. IBM still kind of flickering. Again, it wicked up to about 185, then down to 181 and some change, and kind of came back up to 183. So it's just kind of hanging out there, but technically that data is not out yet. Let's see. Excuse me. Okay, so looking like a bearish reaction, and I was talking to some members earlier today in the Discord that Ford has been on my radar to possibly start wheeling, selling cash secured puts to get into the position, and then selling calls to get out for profit. They do pay a 4.39% dividend, so possibly, to be honest with you, with this one, looking more like possibly a buy plus right strategy. I like doing the buy plus right strategy, and all that is basically we're long shares and we're short calls. That's what the buy plus right is. And when we're selling the calls against the position, that's basically our downside hedge, where we can bring in some income. For instance, if the stock's trading sideways or something, the time that we're waiting for the shares to appreciate, we might as well start bringing some income in, right? And so that's why, and then of course the dividend, that's why we would want to do the buy right, compared to entering the trade with a cash secured put where we actually don't technically own shares yet. If it pays a dividend, might as well just buy the shares and then you can sell calls while you're waiting for the shares to go up. So anyways, I'm no offense to the Ford bulls, but I'm not currently holding any Ford, so this pullback looks pretty juicy, down over 8%. Switch over to IBM just for a second here, getting some bullish momentum. Order book about even. Got a little bit of a buy side imbalance. That's good there. RSI officially over at 80 now, so IBM's flying. Let's see if this ends up being the real move, up over $6 in after hours. Almost 4%, 3.5%. Oh yeah, let me check my other screen here. What time is it? Okay, it's 4:09 p.m. All right, I got some data on Ford here. I'll post for everybody. Let me just copy and paste this. Wow, big bullish move on IBM. For this was trading at 180 something dollars before this data came out. So $180 stock up 5%. Well, it just tapped 5%. That's a pretty solid move for a stock that size. Anyways, let me post this Ford data because I know some people join the stream to get the Ford info and to see the reaction. So let me just go ahead and post that. There we go. All right, so Q2 2024 EPS came in at 0.47. Okay. And the estimate was 0.68, so they missed, they missed EPS by quite a bit there, basically 0.21 miss on EPS. So that's they missed it by what, 30%. And sales came in 47.8 billion. So sales are still strong. the forecast for sales was 44 billion roughly. So nice beat on the sales, but EPS just not good at all, missed by 0.21. So, couple that with possibly some forward guidance that might have got adjusted downwards. This is why we're seeing this negative reaction here. So Ford down almost 10% in after hours. That's pretty good move there on earnings to the downside, down $1.25 a share, just over 9% red. So it looks it's we'll see if this starts clawing back. It's working on this green candle right now. Take it with a grain of salt. It's a 1 minute candle, but this is the what we got here because the earnings data just came out. 6 minutes ago. So 1 minute is what we're dealing with. If I start seeing some signs of recovery, I'll slap a Fibonacci on there. I'll slap a fib on there, kind of gauge where the 25% retrace might be. And if it can take that level back, maybe my confidence will start growing that it may in fact start reversing. But I'm mainly a price action and volume type trader. I do use the volume profile a lot. Not really going to tell us much right now and after hours with this earnings here, but I like using volume profile for the daily action. You can clearly see some volume shelves here that are pretty easy to play. Like right here, looks like it double topped on this shelf here and sold off. So anyways, let me go back to the earnings price action here. Okay, so it hit a low of $12.26. Let's see if there's any buyers anywhere to be found. Order book, slight buy side imbalance, but not by much. Buyers are kind of struggling to keep the selling pressure at bay. Like I say, let's see if it makes a new low here. It's kind of just hanging out right there, 1230. Okay, 1226 is the official after hours low. IBM doing a great job. All right, so we got the basic info for Ford, got EPS and sales. So they miss EPS, but they beat sales. I'll try and get some more info on that as far as Ford guidance goes. Let me actually just pull up another tab, and I'll keep Ford going on the side. But let me pull up IBM real quick, and we'll get some info on there. And got over 400 people tuning in. Welcome everybody. Good to see you. I had a great day today in the Discord, and we actually did a sweep trade on Tesla yesterday afternoon. It was an earnings play, not your typical YOLO earnings play. This actually was a very safe earnings play, and I'll show you here in a minute why it's considered safe in my book, and then kind of let you guys look under the hood at some of the trades I do for the earnings. But let me see if I got some EPS and sales data on IBM. So IBM's looking pretty strong. It's in the 190s. Official close today was 184.27, basically kind of flat for the day. Up almost 4% here. So up what, $7, $7, $8? Obviously price is still moving, so we'll see. Okay, I got some solid IBM data. This is from AlphaSense, pretty good source, pretty reputable. Let me just kind of pull this over here and we can kind of read some of this. This is for IBM. Keep the price action over here on the left and the stock price over here on the right. So anyways, EPS, $2.43. Revenue, $15.8 billion. That's up 2%, up 4% at constant currency, so a little bit of growth there. Software revenue up 7%. Okay, consulting revenue down 1%. Infrastructure revenue up 1%. Gross profit margin 56.8%. That's actually really good. Let's see here. Year-to-date net cash flow from operating activities of $6.2 billion. That was down $0.2 billion. Free cash flow of $4.5 billion. So that's up $1.1 billion. I think that figure is more important. Investors really like to see strong cash position by these companies and IBM over here rocking with 4.5 billies on the side free cash flow. So that's pretty good there. Just a couple of statements from the company. We had a strong second quarter, exceeding our expectations, driven by growth in both revenue and free cash flow. No kidding, 4.5 billion. We continue to see that clients turn to IBM for our technology and our expertise in enterprise AI. The word we've been hearing all year, AI, right? And our book of business for generative AI has grown to more than $2 billion since the launch of Watsonics 1 year ago, said Arvind Krishna, IBM chairman and CEO. Given our first half results, we are raising our full year view of free cash flow. So we got an increase in forward guidance there. At least an aspect of the forward guidance has been raised, and that's the full year view of free cash flow. So solid statements given by the higher ups there over at IBM, and they later say, which we now expect to be more than 12 billion, and that's the full year view of the free cash flow. So amazing statements by the CEO, and they got the data to back it up. They raised guidance, pretty good stuff there. So they go on to say, in the quarter, we accelerated our revenue growth as we continue to execute well on our strategy. Our business fundamentals, operating leverage, product mix, and productivity initiatives all contributed to significant margin expansion. And that margin expansion, it's a good term to throw out there. Investors are going to love to hear that. And increased profit and free cash flow, said James Kavanaugh, IBM Senior Vice President and the CFO. Our strong cash generation enables us to continue investing in innovation and expertise across the portfolio. So you know what that means. With all that free cash flow they got, you best believe they're going to be putting more money into the AI. And there's just a lot of growth here. I think it's what investors are seeing, especially if you throw the AI part of their portfolio in there. And then they say, while returning value to shareholders through dividends, because don't forget, IBM pays a 3.63% dividend. So that shows strength in the company. Companies that don't pay dividends, there's a reason. Either they're using their extra money for expanding and development and stuff like that, or they give it back to the shareholders in the form of dividends, or of course take a deeper dive into the company. And if you find out the reason why they don't pay it is because they just don't have any extra money, then you might want to think twice about investing in that company until they can show through quarterly earnings that they can pull a profit. At least that's my opinion on the matter. But anyways, just taking a look at some fundamentals of IBM going into the earnings. Pretty strong PE ratio, 18.22. Of course, we can compare that to their peers and competitors and see where they kind of stand on the grand scheme of things as far as the PE ratio in a nutshell. EPS, very positive, 8.83. Again, we just talked about the dividend yield, 3.63%. So good stuff there. Real quick, let me just post some of this info on YouTube, because I just want to make sure I can post some info. I guess I don't want to post this whole paragraph, but let me just post. I'll post from here to here. That'd be nice, like couple lines. I can pop on the bottom of YouTube, because I know a lot of people were tuning in for the IBM earnings. So let me. We got Ford out of the way. Getting just to kind of go back to the sticks on Ford. It's starting to bottom out a little bit. I may throw a Fibonacci on there here in a minute, but kind of all eyes on IBM with the initial bullish reaction, and they raised guidance and huge cash position. So lots of positive things with the IBM earnings. Let me go ahead and post that for everybody. There we go. Hopefully everyone can read that. Just some basic information on the financials, earnings data from IBM for Q2. All right, so pretty solid, and we got the actual statement here that we can go over later. Let me just move this back to the side, and just want to see if I have anything else on Ford regarding Ford guidance. Okay, okay, here's from Alpha Sense as well. So we'll bring this over. Now, Ford's getting a bearish reaction right now. I wouldn't be surprised to see some sugarcoating going on by the higher ups. And we got a couple of statements here that we'll go over. But a lot of times you'll see that. But EPS came in 0.47, revenue 47.8 billion, net income of 1.8 billion. Okay, expectations for full year 2022, they unchanged. Okay, so no change to the forward guidance on Ford. Um, that's definitely not going to help the bulls if they're not expecting any more growth for the rest of the year. If they were expecting increased growth compared to what they forecasted from before for fiscal year 2024, if they did think they were going to make more money, they would have adjusted the forward guidance upwards for the remainder of the year, and they didn't do that. They left it unchanged. Little, I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're very optimistic, but they didn't adjust it downwards. So I guess it's not all bad, I suppose. Okay, so Ford Plus is on track. Our underlying quality is improving, and Ford Pro is showing the huge upside we've got in all our businesses, Farley said. Um, Transparency and accountability from having separate teams focused on the needs of different customers are leading to better decisions and greater value for everyone. These statements that Ford's making, it's not really exciting me, which in turn, I don't think it's exciting any of the other investors. Very general kind of statements about their operations. They're talking about transparency and accountability. Um, those words aren't really a positive words, right? So that this isn't too, it doesn't give me a lot of confidence in the rest of the year for Ford if they're making statements like this. So, all the other investors are seeing this as well, and hence we're getting the sell off. RSI sitting down here at 18. I wouldn't even think about going long on this in after hours. If you're going to try and scalp it in after hours on a possible maybe dead cat bounce or a reversal, I wouldn't even touch this thing until RSI on 1 minute gets back above 30, and it's nowhere near there right now. So previous low was in after hours was $12.26, made a new low of $12.23, and then it just made another new low, $12.20. Order book still very much seller side in balance. So there's really no point in trying to buy this right now. Again, not financial advice. I'm just kind of giving you my opinion, right? Because I trade every day with everyone. There's just certain things where it's, so anyways, bad reaction on Ford, down 10.4% in after hours, almost $1.50 a share to the downside. It closed at $13.67. So, $1.50 to the downside, that's going to be a good impact there, a good down move. So if you were short Ford, I have to kind of give you a congratulations, right? It looks like you got that one. For the Ford bulls, okay, it's not all doom and gloom. All right, there's no reason to freak out. Ford is a household name. It's a staple in the U.S. and I'm pretty sure they're not going anywhere. Okay, if anything, they're going to adapt and evolve as changes in technology happen, and Ford's not going anywhere. Okay, and they also do have a pretty good cash position. I believe it's $1.5 billion. I think it said it right here. Let me see. Yeah, free cash flow outlook raised to 1 billion. And to between 7.5 billion and 8.5 billion for the year. So they got cash. I'm not really worried about their cash position. We can kind of take a peek at some of their fundamentals going into this earnings. So two dividend payers today, IBM and Ford, both paid dividends. So Ford could be a candidate for the buy plus right strategy, which is long share short calls. Let's just take a look. PE ratio 7.33, EPS 0.96, both positive, nice and positive there. Again, we can cross check that with their competitors and see where they fall. Dividend yield 4.39%. Very nice Ford. Very nice Ford. This could be a good opportunity to maybe start building a position in Ford for the long run. Obviously don't put all your eggs in one basket right away. Maybe just add a little bit here and there for 6 months, 12 months, and then you know get the best possible average at that point. Financials Q1 they did pull a profit 1.33. Okay, Q4 they lost money. But the remainder of the other 3 quarters in 2023, they were profitable. So they took a big hit in Q4. Wonder if that had anything to do with what was it, like the EV truck or something they were doing. I think maybe they lost some money on that, but solid Q1. And they did, let's see, net income came in at 1.8 billion. So compared that to and that's for Q2, that was just released, 1.8 billion in net income compared to the previous earnings Q1, 1.33 billion. So net income did come down a little bit, but it's still pretty strong, 1 billion profit in the quarter. I'll cross-check that with the year-over-year numbers later. But balance sheet, debt to asset, 84%. A little on the high side, but they're not over leveraged yet. Hopefully they don't get over 100% on that debt to asset there. We'll keep an eye on that. But overall, it's Ford. It's Ford. So maybe this gives an opportunity for people to get a better deal on the stock compared to if you would have bought it earlier today, like 13, 14 bucks. Just kind of wait for the selling to stop. It obviously doesn't look like it's over with yet. Just made another new low, $12.12. Still a pretty decent size sell side imbalance on the order book. So I'm not going to be touching it until that can kind of balance out a little bit. Again, 1 minute chart. So I'm just basically talking about after hours price action. This is not like a bigger term view or anything by any means. But still making new lows, $12.10. Let's pull up the daily chart, just kind of see where we're at here. Let me go weekly chart actually. Just kind of look at this. Let me pull this over. Actually, this is what we're gonna do. No, just zoom out. This is fine. Okay, so Ford has been in the 20s before. It was at $21.83 early 2022. Then sold off all the way down to $9, basically lost over 50% of its value on that down move. That down move from 21.83 down to $9 took about 6 months for that to play out. Got a nice bear signal on the chart too, right here. Look at that. Anyways, it's kind of ping-ponged after that from $9 to about $14 and some change, kind of just ping-ponging for a while. And it was kind of stuck in that ping pong deal leading up to this earnings, wasn't it? I mean, a little bit of an ascending deal, but basically we knew coming into this that there was some pretty good resistance in the 14s, and that held up true in September 2022, held up true June 2023, and held up true just last week, right? These are weekly candles. So last week it got rejected at 14.85, and obviously started the week red this week, and then coupled that with this earnings reaction. This thing's already trading right around $12. So just kind of looking at the chart here, it's already looking at this volume profile here. Let me kind of zoom out a little bit and get as many nodes as I can in there. You can see where it's trading at right now in after hours, $12.10. That's basically right where these two big volume nodes are at. Okay, so a ton of volume poured in at these levels. So basically moving forward with Ford, I'd like to see around $12 hold. Can it go lower than 12? Sure. Yeah, maybe it comes down to 11 and some change or something like it did back here. But you see where the demand is at for this stock. It's right around $12. Okay, and that's been the demand area for this stock for the past 5 months, 6 months. Since February of this year, because that's the time frame I'm looking at with this volume node. It's just since February, end of January, and most of the volumes come in around $12, and it just so happens that's where it's trading at right now. So if it holds $12 going into tomorrow, hey, this might be a good candidate for some passive trading, as far as writing some contracts and stuff like that. So I'll take a peek, see at it tomorrow. Definitely want to see what the price action does for the remainder of after hours, and then of course we get the pre-market data tomorrow morning, and then maybe this is going to be a good opportunity to go long on this, as long as it holds this support in the 12s. If it ends up losing $12 tomorrow, just be patient. Go on the bigger time frame charts, and go back to the weekly here. And you can see next level down. It's pretty clear. $9. You could probably do 10. If it loses 12, this is nice, easy levels, y'all. Very easy to remember. I would just go 12, 11, 10, and you can clearly see $9 would be like support number 3 or 4 or whatever. Hit $9.06, middle of 2022. 9 and some change. It definitely got some demand around $9. So just do your due diligence, watch the price action, wait for the selling. I'm not saying wait for the selling to stop, because no one really ever knows when it's going to stop, but wait for the selling to slow down. Wait for some candles, some daily candles to actually print and close, and you'll be able to see if the selling starts slowing down or not. Keep your eye on the strength with the RSI, and you don't need 50 lines on your chart and 10 indicators. I trade with volume. Candle prints are pretty important for me. Candle prints, volume, and strength. Okay, that's really all you need. The best traders I know, they don't have all this fancy crap. Okay, they pin down the strategy using a couple things that works for them and their personality, because every trader is different. Indicators are going to work differently for everyone, because everyone has different personalities. So you just got to find out what works best for you and your personality, and then seize the day. Okay, it's all about finding your edge, and everyone's edge is going to be different, but that's what trading is. Let's try and get an edge, and as long as you have an edge of some sort, you should be winning more than half your trades, or as long as you're keeping your risk reward and good and all set there. And just like anything else, it takes time, it takes practice. Okay, the more time you got, just like anything else in life, the more practice you get, the better you're going to get. Okay, and that's just as simple as that. So that's basically what I think about that. So it looks like we got our reactions. We could probably go ahead and draw a fib on IBM. I'll just do the let me do. So I'm not really. I don't think I'm going to count when it wicked down, because that was probably just like a liquidity grab or something. I'm gonna start it right around where this bottom of this candle here, kind of go up. Okay. And we go 1 minute chart. Okay, so you can kind of get a little visual here. Went up to 194.53, and then it did come down. It's kind of hovering right above this 38% fib level, which is right around 190, the low 190s. Okay, and that's basically where it's sitting right now. So just watch for some of these fib levels to hold and get a bounce, and then maybe we get a test of this high in after hours, and we get a new after hours high. But definitely look for some of these levels to hold, and then go from there. Now, if these levels just start breaking, and the buyers have just disappeared, and it starts retracing all the way back down, it might be a little worrisome there. But as of right now, it's initial bullish reaction. And let's just see if it can hold, and then continue to, maybe we get a trending day out of it tomorrow that we could trade, just trade the pullbacks or something. But we'll have to see. We got the remainder of after hours data, and of course pre-market data, and kind of go from there. Back to Ford just real quick, and then I'll probably wrap up the stream. It's been over 30 minutes. Ford's still going. It's broke below 12. But again, 11 and some change, it can easily recover quickly back to 12 by tomorrow. So just kind of keep your eye on it. But we already know S1 on Ford, support 1 on Ford, moving forward, it's going to be around $12. And I say around because, it could be $11.75, could be $12.25. Nothing's going to ever be to the penny, y'all. And you traders out there that are like, have this support at like to the penny. Like you got to kind of get out of that mindset, because it's never going to go to the penny. And if you're playing to the penny, that's when you're going to get stopped out a bunch. I like to play like 25 or 50 cent zones. and kind of be a little bit comfortable. Obviously, still have your risk management in place. Like, don't just, not manage it, but you just, have to think about this with a clear mind, and you'll see over time your trading will get a lot better. Let's see here. Okay, got some people chatting in Discord, just kind of hanging out. Matter of fact, let's go over. Okay, so Ford's still coming down. It did regain 12 bucks by a couple of cents here. IBM actually coming back down now. So what is going on? Had a great bullish reaction to 194.56 and just got this solid selling candle here. And yeah, this order book, the sellers are coming out of the woodworks here for some reason. Maybe there was some more data that came out outside of the initial EPS and sales data. We'll have to look a little bit further into that, but you could see how this Fibonacci lined up. Look at that bounce right off this fib level here. And it bounced right there, bam. Other people are looking at the same levels as I am. So anyways, we got our reactions. IBM starting to retrace back, so keep your eye on it. Again, just look for these levels to hold. Ford, obviously bearish reaction. I'll be looking to go long on Ford once the selling slows down, okay? Just want to go over to the Discord and look at the profit channel and see what everyone's been trading today. Just kind of slide this over on the screen. And then I'll get out of here because I know everyone has real life stuff they got to go do. So anyways, let me see here. I forgot to reply to this person. Okay, Mad Maverick playing Chipotle. Nice little move there. This is someone asking me a question. Oh yeah, the inverse iron condor that I did for earnings. We can just take a quick look at that, just to kind of show you what the trade was, to give you guys an idea of the types of trades that I do. So it's going to be right here, option trades by bull. That's me. So this was the trade. Okay, it was inverse iron condor. On the catalyst was Tesla earnings. These are the types of trades I do on the earnings. Because the point of this trade is I want Tesla to ultimately trade outside of this range. Okay, so my prediction was when I opened this trade was I wanted Tesla to either make an up move or down move. And that's another beautiful thing about this trade. I don't care if Tesla goes to the moon or Tesla burns to the ground. I'm protected on both sides. I can make money on both sides of the trade. So I'm not really biased as far as directionally. Where my bias lands is I don't want Tesla to stay flat. I don't want Tesla to stay inside my red tent here. That's where the risk is on this trade. But the expected move for Tesla was, I think it was 10% or 11% for earnings. And based on what the price of Tesla was trading at when I opened this trade, if you go to the current price of Tesla when I opened it, go to 266, and then take the current price of Tesla and go to 233. I technically only needed a 5% move for this trade to work out. And that's kind of what we want to figure out before we enter is what's the expected move and what's the range I need the stock to move for me to make money. And in this case, I only needed it to move 5%, which was well within the 10% expected move. And those expected moves aren't 100%. Okay, we've seen stocks do double the expected move. We've seen stocks do half of the expected move. But the expected move is a good piece of data to help me put the trade together, okay, to kind of get it going there. And risk reward wasn't quite 1-to-1, but that was okay because I can win the trade no matter if it goes up or down. I basically just need Tesla to make a move. And if we're expecting a big move on the underlying, that's when I pull these trades out, the inverse iron condor, which is the opposite of a traditional iron condor. A traditional iron condor, you have a credit spread on each side of the price. Then you have a call credit spread above the price, and then you have a put credit spread below the price. That's a traditional iron condor. And the point of that trade is to trap the price in the middle of your two spreads. So we would use a traditional iron condor if we were neutral on the stock. If we think the stock's just going to trade sideways, then slap a credit spread on each side of the price, and you'll be able to make double income that way as well. And that's how we make money on iron condors. And I talk with the Discord members on how I pick my strikes and expiration dates. I deep dive into all that with them, but just kind of giving you a quick run through. So if we're trying to trap the price in the middle, that's regular iron condor. Inverse iron condor, we use those. It's the complete opposite, because we use those when we're expecting a big move. And I knew Tesla was going to move. Matter of fact, before I opened the trade, just to help my confidence out on it a little bit more, I simply went to tip ranks. I typed in Tesla. This is all free data, by the way, for anyone interested. Tipranks.com. You don't have to pay. I mean, they do have a premium service, but I just use the free stuff. It's great. It's all free data for me. But anyways, what I did was I wanted to see the past 4 earnings, what their the price of Tesla was one day after the earnings announcements. In the past 4 earnings, the past 2 had a 12% change, and then the time before that was over 9%, and the time before that was like 9 or 10%. So a little bit of a pattern there, right? Tesla's always going to make, usually on average, a 10% move one day after earnings. And sure enough, that definitely was a piece of information that helped build my confidence before I entered the trade. And then I ultimately ended up entering the trade. And since I was able to profit no matter which direction it went in, basically just didn't want it to trade flat. Again, that's where my risk is. You don't want it to trade flat. But because I was able to profit on both directions, I was willing to take less than the 1-to-1 risk reward. And in this example, paid $145 for it with a max profit of 105, because these are $2.50 wide spreads on each side of the price. So technically, this entire iron condor is worth $250. I'm just protected on both sides. That's why it's only worth $250, even though I have 2 spreads at $250 wide. I know that's kind of an earful for a lot of you, but if you want to know more, come join the Discord. This is all I teach in the Discord: is advanced option strategies, multi-leg option strategies, credit spreads, debit spreads, iron condors. We do butterflies. I do iron flies. There's so much more to trading than just simply buying a call and selling it when the value goes up, or buying a put. And there's so much more. There's so many more ways to trade. And especially with the multi-leg options, there's a lot more ways to manage it. I've actually I've taken spreads that were going against me, and I've turned them into butterflies, and they've ended up being a winning trade. So there's ways to turn a bad trade into a good trade. All just going to depend on expiration dates and strike prices and stuff like that. But this is basically what I do in the Discord. So if anyone's looking for a new home, or you just want to come hang out, check the link in the description. You can join for free and see how you like it. But back to, I kind of rambled there for a second, but since I had 2 different ways to win this trade, if Tesla went up above 266, I would win. If Tesla went down below 233, I would win. Because I had 2 different ways to win, I was willing to accept less than the 1-to-1 risk reward. And in this case, I was risking 145 to make 105. So 105 divided by 145. This still yielded a 72% return. Okay, so yes, naked options, we can, that's where you're going to get the 500% returns. And you could be biased and do a debit spread and still get triple-digit returns. But me personally, I'm more of a safer trader. I like the safer trades. I'm willing to give up some of my upside if the trade has a better pop, which is, for those familiar, that's percentage of profit. So the higher the pop, the better. And I want high pop, and I'm willing to take less of a profit because, I'm going to be winning 80-90% plus of my trades. It's a no-brainer for me. And in this situation, this trade still yields 72% return on what we had at risk. And I'm more than happy with that return. It was just fine. Okay. So anyways, just wanted to go over that trade. I know I'm kind of going over the time limit here. So I'll go ahead and get out of here, but let me just one last peek at the candlesticks here. Ford did wick down to $11.91. As you can see, it's kind of, this is the 15-minute chart, by the way. I'm not on the 1 minute anymore. So working on a 15-minute, could turn into a hammer candle. we'll see. Looks like this candle is going to print in 5 seconds. It'll be done printing. Let's just see what it does if it turns into like a funky looking doji with a long bottom wick. But definitely looks like a demand candle to me. There were some buyers entering the trade down here in the 1190s, and you could see from this bottom wick that there was some buying pressure there. So ideally, we want to see this next 15-minute print. Obviously, would like that to be green if you're a bull. And matter of fact, we could probably just go ahead and draw a fib on this. I'm just going to go to the top of the body of this red candle down to 1191. Look for $12.35 to break to the upside. And then, hey, Ford might be onto something as far as clawing back some of these losses it's taking in after hours, currently down 11%. So anyways, obviously the reaction on Ford is bearish. So we got that. Initial reaction on IBM, just a quick recap, was positive. It's retraced 50% of that pump. So would really like it to hold here for the bulls, you know. Like I say, if this thing starts breaking these levels and we end up with 100% retracer to the downside, and this thing just ends up flat, it's not going to be too good for anyone that had naked calls or naked puts, because it's obviously, you know, if it's going to be flat, then nobody wins, right? The people that are going to win are going to be the people writing the contracts that are collecting credit when they sell the contracts. But anyways, again, if you're looking for a new home, come join us. My name's the Swinging Bull on the Discord. My real name is Ben or Benjamin. It was nice hanging out with everybody. We do live trading every single day in the Discord. And then I do lots of educational streams in there teaching people about advanced option strategies and how to become an option seller rather than fighting theta as an option buyer. As an option seller, theta is actually our best friend. So I'll teach everyone all about that. But anyways, check the link in the description. It's free to join. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their night. And again, I do this every week on Wednesdays. I pick out a couple tickers that are doing earnings. We kind of just take a deep dive into the companies. I show everyone some trades that I've been doing in the group and stuff like that. And always have a lot of fun chatting with everybody. So. But other than that, I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their night. And if you do join our group, I look forward to meeting you. And I'll see everybody later. Cheers.